got pretty excited when I saw this one pop up because it's a molten pearl for sale. This is VIN 988-0988, and it is a 2016, $43,000, 47,000 miles. That's all fine and dandy until you realize it's a salvage title car. The price would have been spot on for the mileage and everything else, even priced slightly low, but it's a salvage title. Immediately with these cars, if you have a salvage title, these are going to be around $30,000. That's high or low mile. That's what these cars have sold for with salvage titles. And this particular car, VIN 988, so it's paint code 4W7, which is molten pearl with an LA20 interior. That's black interior. The 2016 and 2017 were the only years that the molten pearl was produced, and there's only 43 of them that were made. That's it. 41 in 2016, 2 in 2017, and unfortunately one of the 2017s is already totaled and gone, so there's only one of those left. But of the 43, there's quite a few of them that already have salvage and or rebuilt titles. It's unfortunate, and again, I track the molten pearls very closely because I own one, but the number of them that exist, very few. So out of all of the 2016s, or well, 2016s, 2017s, there's 43 that exist. 34 had black interior, 9 had Stratus gray or white interior. That's it. So if you come across one of these for sale or the flare yellows, it's very rare that they pop up. And so that's why I got excited when I saw it. But being salvage title, of course, if you find a salvage title one in this day and age, there's a pretty high chance you can just Google the VIN and you can find any information about the pictures, things like that, sales prices. And so this one is no exception. This one had an accident in December of 2021. It's been a Portland, Oregon car almost its entire life until the accident. And after the accident, it changed hands a lot, but it was well serviced at the Lexus dealer in Portland, Oregon until that. So this car was on its path to being a one owner, low mile, well taken care of car until it got totaled. And so looking closely at the pictures, so the reason this car got totaled is very simple. It was a front hit, and the stuff on the front of this car is very expensive. I'll show you right here. The headlight is $3,500. The grille assembly now with the carbon fiber piece is $12,000. So grille, headlight, the subframe, or not the subframe, the upper radiator support, radiator, condenser, all the other stuff that got damaged there. It's easy to see why there was in excess of $25,000+ worth of damage to this car. That's why they totaled it. The airbags did not deploy, so that's a bonus, because normally when the airbags deploy on these, all of them deploy. So then you've got side airbags in the front and back, knee airbags, the curtain airbags, the regular airbags. It totals it so quick if the airbags deploy. So I think I've rambled on enough about molten pearl and why this car was totaled, but you can look at the pictures yourself. As far as GSFs that I've seen that have been totaled, this one is not as severe as others. It sucks that it has a salvage or rebuilt title now, but it is a 4-owner, 3-accident car on Carfax, a 5-owner, 8-accident car on EpicVin, and a 5-owner, 1-accident car on AutoCheck. So it's all over the place for the number of accidents. But I think when you actually look at it, it looks like it's a 5-owner, 1-accident car. And that 1 accident is where it was totaled. It doesn't look like it's been an accident prior to that or after that. So you basically just have to worry about the front end and how well it was repaired. So previous sales, it looks like it was originally a leased car in Portland, Oregon. And the second owner was also in Portland. It was very well serviced by the first and second owner. Third owner, still in Portland, still well dealer serviced. And then of course happens in December 2021 when it got totaled, and it bounced around to Illinois, Idaho, and then back to Washington State, where it is currently for sale. And so you could be the 5th, 6th owner, depending on what it is here. Point is, after the third owner, it got tossed around a few times, and I think that the auction sale, it was sold a few times at auction, and pretty common to see at Copart or IAAI. Somebody will buy it and immediately turn around and sell it again, try to think they can get more for it. The previous sales, it was bid to like $13,000 at auction. It didn't sell. It bid to $17,000, didn't sell. Bid to $20,800, and it finally sold. So that was the sales price at auction in 2023 for this car. So the guy that's selling the car, I don't know if it's the guy that fixed it, but it was purchased for $20,000, and then you had to fix it up. And if you used used parts, you could probably fix it for another $5,000 to $8,000, something like that. Asking almost $45,000 for it, that's a stretch. And I know he's trying to make his money back, or who knows, but this is the first time it's actually been for sale publicly since it's had the rebuilt title. So looking further at the pictures, it looks like during the accident, it had a black wrapped roof and it had orange aftermarket seat belts, which I think is kind of cool, but that's actually got me thinking about maybe that's something I want to do to mine. But orange aftermarket seat belts, and it did have an aftermarket exhaust. When it is for sale now, it still does have that aftermarket exhaust, and it still has the orange seat belts. So I guess this car, it's going to come down to service history and how well the repair was done, and the fact that they're asking far too much for this car. And yes, the molten pearls are special, but they generally don't demand a price premium. The only ones that in my opinion, that demand a price premium have been the anniversary cars, of which there's 100 of them, and the flare yellows, of which there are 11, but there's only 9 left. Any of the others, the molten pearls, even though it's a low production, it doesn't seem to be that it commands a price premium versus like a caviar black, an ultra white car, something like that. So if you take the molten pearl out of the picture, let's just say that this car was black with black interior. It has a salvage title. It has 45,000 miles. Should it still be $45,000? No. It should be a $30,000, $32,000 car tops, especially with 6 owners, especially with the salvage title. It's just, does it look clean overall? Yeah, it looks pretty clean, but those are things that you have to start thinking about, that don't let the color fool you into thinking, oh my God, it's a molten pearl car. It's going to come down to service history. This car for sale here has not been in a Lexus dealer service since 2021. Not to say that it hasn't been serviced since then, but that's something to look at. Also, the valley plate, the front inner tire wear, that was the last thing that they complained about in 2021, was it had front inner tire wear. So guess what? Lower control arms, and I bet they haven't been done on this car either. So lower control arms, valley plate, definitely need to look at those. Any of the other repairs, you don't know the quality of the repair. It obviously wasn't done at Lexus or their body shop. It would have been reported on the service history as Lexus body shops do. So I think knowing that information, that you just need to carefully inspect the front of this car and just mechanically look everything over. But the rest of it looks okay. And at the end of the day, it is still a low mile car, but salvage title cars are hard to resell, especially at this price point, because banks won't loan money for rebuilt title cars in many instances, especially in this day and age. So that is something to keep in mind. If you're to buy it, if you get it cheap enough, if you get it in like the low 30s, then it's a fine car to just go and drive and enjoy. And you can sell it and not worry about having to lose too much money. But at $45,000, $43,000, I think it's quite overpriced. And the previous sales, there's been several rebuilt title cars that have sold, again, $28,000 to $32,000 is kind of what to expect. Some of them have had as low as 40,000 miles. One of them had 100 and something thousand and sold for $28,000. But that's what rebuilt title cars for these cars go for, not $43,000, $45,000, despite it being molten pearl. So I feel like I've rambled on enough about the point on the price, but my point with this one is it may still be worth checking out, but there's a lot of questions. So if you buy it, if you're considering buying it, inspect it very thoroughly. So look at the carbon fiber stuff too. The door panels were missing in the salvage auction, so I don't know if the door panel's been replaced with new ones or used ones or something like that, but that is, again, something to keep an eye on. So that is VIN 988. Yes, it is rare, but it has a salvage title. How important is that to you? If I were looking at it, if you could get it in the low 30s, I think it'd still be a worthwhile buy. The rest of the service history is there. Make sure everything else is up to date and go check it out. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you soon.